Hey there, Adrienne Elise here. Welcome to the Gaia Daily for September 5th through 9th, 2022. Wow, intense energies we're in right now with Black Moon Lilith and exact square to Chiron. We've been feeling this for the last couple of weeks. The exact of this Black Moon Lilith square Chiron is finishing up here in the next couple of days. So Black Moon Lilith is in Cancer, and it's in the middle of Cancer, 15 degrees, in exact square to Chiron at 15 degrees Aries. And Black Moon Lilith seems to the effect of Black Moon Lilith in astrology and in our birth chart, as we watch it through this point in space that moves through our reality. This point in space of Black Moon Lilith is the furthest away that the moon gets from the earth. And so that apogee place is represented, this Black Moon Lilith. And what it seems to do is draw out the deepest hidden things, secrets. It could be dynamics, belief systems, programming, beliefs about ourselves is what's really coming up. And especially in Cancer, it's around the wound of separation, our feeling of being disconnected and left alone and behind. Supernova souls know this feeling. Who put me on this planet, and when are you going to take me home? Not that we don't love the earth, and the whole reason we've been able to incarnate and be here is because of our intense love for the earth and for Gaia and the beautiful vision of what Gaia wants to become. We hold this in our heart. This is absolutely in alignment with the highest timeline and the truth of who we really are. So I know it's a really gross and yucky time right now on the psychic level. If you're awake and aware on any level, it's just like, but we have to understand that we have been living a complete and total lie, so far away from the truth of who we really are. And our timelines, our reality, our true history, basically the whole matrix control mechanism can only be held in place as long as we don't remember who we really are, and that we've already experienced advanced states of consciousness. We've already experienced higher levels of technology and use these in our very own body. This is the one thing keeping all of these lies intact and the false matrix reality. Supernova souls, I know it's intense because you're sitting there feeling like, what in the heck am I even here for? And who am I? And get me out of here. And yet you're about to bloom, in the cocoon, breaking and coming out into who you really are. It's all about hiding you from who you really are. Now, who you really are holds this vision of what's possible, of something greater and bigger and more beautiful. This is within you. It's the absolute same energy. So right now we're in this massive excavation process on a deep psychic level of anything that keeps us from being able to receive this greater truth of who we are, which is also absolutely in alignment with our highest timeline and opportunities of these times and moments. So Black Moon Lilith, this deep, dark place, connected to our relationship to mother and feeling home and safe, our ability to receive. And supernova souls in particular will find, as they go into the depths of their psyche, layers and layers of misplaced shame that has to do with persecution that happened mostly in the Piscean age of light worker advanced souls. Again, targeted. Why? Because they don't want you to show the rest of humanity what's really possible. And the thing is that like you're closer, this is what the supernova soul definition, it's like you're closer to these memories. You have more experience as an advanced soul. You're here to show humanity what's possible. And all we're getting out of the matrix is flying at us is gloom and doom and terror. And that is exactly how we got here in this loop, is that we are keep creating out of the energy of trauma. And so moment to moment right now, we've got to claim our reality and claim our truth and claim our vision. This is how we validate who we are, even though we don't know who we are, and it's so nebulous because we're so used to identifying as a lower personality construct of some role that we came here to play and some uniform and path we came here to walk and some clothes we came here to wear. And what is going on now in this evolution, in order to come bring everything back to the way it should be, we've got to come back to who we really are. And that means we've got to extricate ourselves from all these old stories. And this is exactly the whole play. If I could put it in a nutshell, there's so much going on right now astrologically. It's just these next 6 months are so powerful and intense and frustrating and yet liberating. And because what's happening is that Jupiter is now retrograde. And basically that means that Jupiter will be heading back into a dip back into Pisces. The end degrees of Pisces, the very most intense degrees of Pisces. And of course, it'll have that triumphant return on December 21st back into Aries. This establishing this opportunity, this bloom, this flash of lightning for us to grab a hold of the Christ consciousness timeline and bring it and land it right here on the earth. So we're in this massive time of preparation. But this next few months, the energy, the story is really about this Jupiter dipping back into Pisces, because Jupiter moving over to Aries. Jupiter is the biggest energy that we feel. And it expands wherever it is, the energies of whatever placement. At the beginning degrees of Aries, it was oh, the hope of life is back. Realizing how far away we've been from actually living. We're living a dead existence according to what is told that is possible for us. And it's so far away from the truth. But we had a glimpse of this freedom movement, making it happen, it's all okay. So, part of the whole mechanism that's held back this spiritual evolution on Earth has to do with stagnancy. Okay, because we can see this is part of the blessing of astrology, even though it's intense at times. If we're working with the planets and the energies, we're oh yeah, I'm getting this. I can get this message more. I can understand. I can move with the energies. I can flow, and just even the study of astrology, it's oh, that shit's always, okay, there's retrograde cycles, but everything's always moving, right? And this is how they've kept us so stuck in these inappropriate timelines and matrix, lower matrix, separated from our power, which is our access to technology, in our body and external technologies. This is what it's all about. And so this energy is, like I said, everything just wants to make sure that we don't understand our own power within us. Now, Jupiter dipping back into Pisces after this expansive possibility being shown to us and kind of coming out of our winter cave of the last 2.5 years of strange energies. And then it's oh, no, oh, no, you don't, right? Because Jupiter turned retrograde. All of our bigger planets are retrograde. And so it's difficult because here we are claiming movement, right? Understanding the power of movement, because movement is everything. Life force is movement. We know in our bodies when there's stagnant energies, that creates illness and disease. You can't have disease, illness without stagnant energies, right? So the health is movement. Unfortunately, we've been so suppressed and programmed, especially through Western medicine, that we think that movement of symptoms and expression of body symptoms is disease. We've made it that, oh, I have this, that's the disease. It's this thing coming out on my arm or whatever, right? It's like, no, that's your body expressing, getting rid of something, telling you something, showing you, and when you make that go away on the skin, it's going to, you suppress it in Western medical techniques, you're pushing that disease deeper into the organs, to a very dangerous place, So we've seen symptoms and movement and energy and access to energy, on all levels of society. We've been told this is wrong and bad. And people, so because you have movement of energy, then you have shifting and changing. And we've been programmed with such fear and trauma that we want to grab a hold of time and make it stop and feel safe. This is the lost art of the ancient rituals of, ancient peoples, and all like people with any connection to Gaia and the earth always took aside times to celebrate at sacred places. And this is way, 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 it's like the original idea of church, but way more effective, right? It's like going to these places, maybe a pilgrimage, a gathering at a sacred location where for hundreds and thousands of years, people have gathered at these places, and you commune with the earth and you come present with together, and you amplify your energies, and you remember that you're a part of something greater, and you get reset, and you feel that connection to the earth. And this has been stolen from us, but we're about to take it back. That's what's going on. And we're in a long-term turnaround that looks like, as I see it, it's like we're having to make this massive turnaround and try to get on the appropriate timeline. And that means revisiting all this karma backwards. It's like it looks like a safety pin, or not a safety pin, a paper clip. Interesting. I'll start with Operation Paperclip, or even before that. But this energy of this thing where we're trying to catch up with timelines, but we got to go back and we got to go forward because we missed key markers. And so it feels like we're in a loop, but if we can see the bigger picture of what's going on with this deep retrograde season, we can know that it's all about preparation to run with this reality timeline and our world, our way. So what's going on right now that we're feeling is like this last week has been so intense with the Black Moon Lilith square Chiron, and that is coming off now. But it's taken us to the excruciating places where we feel disconnected, where we feel unloved, where we feel it's so intense. That's kind of a backdrop energy, right? The deepest secrets in Cancer are where we feel unloved. Like our experiences from our very early life. Most supernova souls have found experiences again and again of abandonment and neglect and abuse. So this is because it just goes back to the same thing. It's like they don't want you to know who you are. It's going to beat you down a little bit, and you agree to it on some level. This is what we're working out over the next couple of months. It's like, where did I agree to get beaten down like this? Because I found myself down there all the way at the bottom. I know I don't belong there. I know these belief systems and the shame doesn't really fit who I am, because I can feel that there's big love inside of me that is available as a gift for the world. So why do I feel like such dog shit, And so we have to find ourselves there. And this is this Black Moon Lilith square Chiron, because we've been running from this feeling, saying that's not me. But we have to go and we're like, yeah, it's not me, but there it is. And what happens if we face it down and we stand and we are 100% completely present with this dynamic? And we say, wait a minute. I have my own relationship with the big mother, my big mother, outside of this paradigm, and nobody can take that from me. So we're forging our way back home to permission in our heart and soul to feel safe and supported on this earth. Now, this is bringing forward one of the other themes that's going on, is that what we're feeling is this massive, like that glimpse we talked about of Jupiter moving to Aries this spring, then turning retrograde, and then be like, oh God, we're going into the dark ages again. I thought we were done with this. And the reason why we're feeling this so strongly right now is because Mercury is about to turn retrograde. So we've got a Pisces full moon coming up on Saturday, and the activation for that full moon will be on Friday, September 9th, this Friday, in Mountain Time at 1 p.m. Mountain Time. So this energy is on the day of the Pisces full moon, okay, which is bringing us a foreshadowing of this Jupiter's dip back into Pisces, where we have to go, ooh, it's like Black Moon Lilith square Chiron. We're like opening up the crevices and the cracks of the deepest, darkest psychic shit, that we haven't been able to face. This is the deal. It's like you came in here as an enlightened being, which means you're super sensitive and aware and you feel everything. And then you went through this massive ill treatment. And so it's just totally normal for that abuser to take on belief systems, the abusee to take on the belief systems of the abuser and believe on some level that you deserve this treatment, and here you are, the eyes of the world. So you see why we have to go here? How can we step into our power and this ability to demonstrate what's possible in a whole different reality while we're holding ourselves down in those feelings or belief systems that don't fit who we are? So this Black Moon Lilith square Chiron is super, super important to take us to the brink of those places, because it's underneath these old stories, because all of it, the spotlight's on the stories of the Piscean age and the persecution of the healers, the separation of nature and spirit, and the degradation of the feminine. And so that's on the table because of these dynamics. And with Mercury in Libra now, about to turn retrograde, Mercury turns retrograde at 8 degrees. Jupiter is at 6 degrees. So the whole time that Jupiter is, right now, Mercury is preparing to turn retrograde, and then we'll turn retrograde on Friday or Saturday, the same day of this full moon. And so that whole time, and we'll be feeling this all the way up to the equinox, Mercury will be opposing Jupiter. So Mercury in Libra turning retrograde, and this is really interesting, right? It's like Mercury turns retrograde at 8 degrees of Libra. Jupiter retrograde went only to 8 degrees Aries and turned retrograde. So they're both turning retrograde at the same degree of these opposing signs. So Jupiter has been hanging out at 8 degrees for the last couple of months, Aries. And it's pretty significant that that's where Mercury turns, in direct opposition to that placement, at the same time in the opposition to Jupiter. So this is the energy that's leading us up to the September equinox. Very powerful energies with these dynamic changes facing the darkest dark, so that we can claim back and take back what's ours. Because it is under those dark stories that we find who we really are. And like we said, everything in all of contrived reality, matrix, fake history, bullshit we've been living, so much has gone into just keeping you from these memories. And then we've got trauma. That is like when you go to access your intuitive memories of who you really are and what you've experienced on other levels, you get a trauma response. And how are we ever going to heal that if we're scared to look at it? So Mercury opposite Jupiter is so powerful, and it's the main energy of what we're what we're feeling. Now, Mercury is our mind, and when Mercury goes retrograde, it's about rethinking things. Mercury in Libra is about relationships, relating to the other, and who we are in relation to the other. Aries, it's about my way or the highway. And that's like an energy that we, especially supernova souls and dumbed down, demasculated humanity, You know, we don't have any umph. We don't have any action. We're not moving, you know, that whole thing. We've been in this stagnant place. And so Jupiter in Aries is like, let's move, let's do it, actualize you, because nobody around you is going to do it or can do it for you. And most likely supernova soul, anybody around you right now, as you are on the edge of actualizing, doesn't want you to. They want you to stay back with them. That's fine. It's like normal. It's human. It's well-meaning because they think probably you're safer with them on this side. And it's like, no, you know, so Jupiter in Aries is like, gotta go my own way. I gotta forge forward. I've gotta, you know, be that trailblazer supernova soul. But then it's like this deep grief because it feels like at the expense of relationships and family and any sense of security. Again and again, we've had to make these choices. Not this time. This time, your choice for your true self and essence and living your ideals and living your full expression, that is what allows you to come together with your true tribe. So the only way it works in this new paradigm, in this vision that we're here to co-create and live in the energy of it, the only way it works is if we are self-actualized and surrounded by others that want to see us flourish and shine as well. So just Mercury opposite Jupiter bringing up deep issues around relationships where we've given our power away in order to have comfort and where we haven't been able to receive healthy, you know, support from healthy. We're humans. This is human survival is dependent upon other people, touch, nurturing, connection. And how have we been surviving supernova souls in such isolation? So this time, we don't have to give anything up. And our true path and purpose and that full expression of who we are, the way we want to forge forward with that Jupiter in Aries and live and breathe the role we came here to play in this paradigm, which is like beyond what we can imagine, beautiful. That's where our people will be, our community. So keep that in mind because it feels like just a lot of deep, it's like the Black Moon Lilith, deepest, darkest secrets and goo and nastiness in Cancer, square to Chiron in Aries, and then Jupiter in Aries opposite Mercury in Libra. It's telling us that the goo that we're finding has to do with early childhood unmet needs. And then how we've been playing that out through attachment disorders and narcissist relationships, you know, in our current relationship, in our relationships. And we've got to grow up and stand up and take care of ourselves, love and honor ourselves enough to step through these paradigms and contemplate and allow yourself, even though you're being true to yourself in each moment as much as you can, the vision that you're feeling into, this reality you're moving into, this possibilities, it absolutely includes 100% beautiful, supportive relationships that it's hard to just conceive of. It's hard to even conceive of as supernova soul. Relationships that are supportive and nurturing. So, because one of the blocks from making this, you know, when we get to that threshold place of releasing our ego and stepping into our super bigger truth of who we are, one of the programs that comes up is like, you're going to be all alone, you know? And we have to be like, been there, done that. You're not scaring me. You know, maybe that's why we have gone through everything we've gone through. But so how do we clear these old patterns and stories of the past, dip into the Piscean age in the scariest places, and yet at the same time hold the truth of our world, our way, our vision? Now, this is part of the energy that's coming with this now, because this Pisces full moon that's happening Saturday, the activation will be Friday. It's happening at 17 degrees Pisces. That's not far from the nodes. And as far as where they're at 17, so this puts this full moon in a trine with the south node of the moon, especially leading up to the full moon. And the sun is in a trine to the north node in Virgo, is in a trine to the north node in Taurus. So we've got earth trine and we've got water trine. With Black Moon Lilith in Cancer, it'll make a grand water trine for this full moon. So even though it's been an intense journey into these darkest places, this place of all hope is lost and complete disconnection and this dark, shadowy stuff, now we're having an energy of like, yeah, it's intense, it's hard, and it's not going to get any easier because it's not about going back to the old way and the old comforts and the old programs and all that. But we can harmonize this. We can do this. It's okay because the moon in trine to the south node, moon in Pisces, trine to the south node, trine to Black Moon Lilith in Cancer, Grand Water Trine, is bringing an emotional harmonization. So it's about taking the deep excavating journey we've been on with this Black Moon Lilith square Chiron and using it to our advantage, because that's really the key of Chiron. You know, Chiron is shaped like a key, the symbol. And Chiron is our deepest wounds in Aries, about where we gave our power and our life force away to make other people happy, Libra. Or to have what we needed, or to have love, or to be accepted. But the wounds of Chiron are just covering up the superpower, right? So you heal the wounds of Chiron, and then you get this, you access that superpower. And that's what it's a very important energy in the birth chart of supernova souls. And it speaks to soul groups and stuff. And so, that this trine, water trine energy is giving us that emotional harmonization so that we can have this turnaround and take those deep wounds over where we've been so alone, we've been so abandoned, we've been exiled, we've been rejected, all that, and turn it into that superpower that you're not afraid of anything. You know? You've been to the darkest places. Now, this is the overall theme of the next 6 months, seems to be, because Mars has just now, part of the reason we're feeling such a like gong energy is that, well, Venus is just moving into Virgo. So we got more earth energy. This is good. We're grounding out. We got the sun in Virgo, Venus in Virgo. Because Mercury is now in Libra, almost about to turn retrograde, and what the other energy we're feeling is that Mars in Gemini has entered retrograde shadow. Mars is going to take a retrograde in Gemini starting on October 29th, but is already in retrograde, because this retrograde, Mars retrograde in Gemini, is he'll stay in Gemini the whole time. It means over 6 months of Mars and Gemini. What this is Mars is our warrior action. It's what we're looking for, movement, right? And the movement that's going to get us to go, and that needs to be reorganized and re-empowered, is our voice, you know? So Gemini is an orator, a powerful leader that can speak the vision, you know? And that's a really important energy, and especially for supernova souls, you reluctant leaders. So the next 6 months, very clear messages around the preparation of our new leaders that are going to be taking the stage next year. And so, you know, if we reflect back to that, dipping back into the Piscean age and the persecution these souls have gone through, and clearing up all that, you know, clearing off, I'm seeing a bird that got stuck in an oil slick, but that getting, you know, there's nothing too dirty that can't be cleaned. And cleaning up, you know, where the feathers have gotten heavy and couldn't fly, and then now coming back into the exalted and advanced being that you truly are. And so this is why there's such an energy of like, oh my gosh. And it feels like, wow, so much work and energy. I thought we were getting somewhere. We're really not getting anywhere. The zombies are out in full force. And what in the F kind of world am I living in right now? But that's where we say we got to pull back and know that we're here to co-create. And everything out there is trying to get us to be in a lower frequency vibration. And we just have to be like completely own the dream and the vision. But we're being helped with these trines, because we have the moon, like I said, Grand Water Trine with this full moon, and the sun trine the north node, black Moon Lilith trine the south node as well. These are also making sextiles. So where there's a trine, where the moon is in trine to the south node, it's in a sextile to the north node. And the sun is in trine to the north node, sextile, south node. So the nodes are getting harmonized, and the nodes in the moon are about how do we move? What's the path forward, and what's holding us back from the past? And so everything about this Pisces full moon is what's left over from the Piscean age and belief systems and distortions that are keeping us from moving into our new reality. Now, part of the energy we're also feeling as of the 11th is same day as this, just the day after the full moon. That's when we're really going to feel the Saturn square Uranus. We're already feeling it. And it's exact for the first couple of weeks of October. That's exactly the same time that Mercury turns direct on October 2nd. And so while Mercury's turned direct and coming out of retrograde shadow, this is where we have the Saturn square Uranus. And we've been feeling this too. So we got double retrograde, or all the planets retrograde almost. Oh, Venus is like the only one. And and that's interesting to know in her journey. And so we've got that. And we've also got this intense, we're coming out of that black Moon Lilith square Chiron. We get a little, it's still on, leading up to the equinox, and then the equinox really moves us into, and already we're feeling on the 11th, this Saturn square Uranus. Now, we've been feeling this for the last year and a half, on and off. Saturn in Aquarius, our manifest reality. And how do we change it, or what's keeping us from changing into the vibrational energy of the Aquarian age? Uranus, the ruler of Aquarius, higher frequency vibrations, higher technologies, connection to our wisdom. That is Uranus is in the sign of Taurus. We've got this fixed square, and it's about Uranus and Taurus has been coming forward, especially that activation Mars in the North Node. It's like an activation of higher frequency vibrations, and it's time to embody these, not just experience states, right? It's like we have to fully embody these energies. We're changing our physical world and our physical body into light, and our earth. She's changing us. We're going with her through the asteroid belt, or whatever adventure we're on together. But so embodiment of higher frequency vibrations is what we need to do. And it's also the blocks to that. Saturn, obstacles. The obstacles to embodying our higher frequency vibrations must get resolved. And in Aquarius, it's speaking to all of the stories that started back in Atlantean time, programming that accessing our innate wisdom, our higher power, our technological abilities as an advanced soul, that would cause destabilization in the earth, and trauma programming associated with this. Now, all we're here to do is come into our higher faculties and demonstrate this potential to humanity. And everything, and since Atlantean time, has been very deliberately working against us remembering and doing this. Do you see how it has to be rapid? Do you see how it has to be like we don't even know ourselves what's going on? It's almost like if we knew, we'd give away the plan. So we have to just grapple through the dark with some sort of like faint memory that there was something more to this story. It's such an intense time, but if you can keep in mind, so that Saturn square Uranus is just about radical changes that need to occur. Is where we started this conversation. The changes that need to occur to represent us moving into the Aquarian age. The changes in our physical reality that demonstrate and correlate with the energetic changes we've been going through. This has been the last decade of astrology. Back to 2011 or so, where we had Uranus square Pluto. And that's when we started getting into these themes, just like, whoa, we've got these upgrades coming, right? We got to catch up. we're evolving, we're higher frequencies, whatever's happening. And we got knocked off our timeline, and now we got to zig and zag our way back, so know that that's this weird place we're in. We're in retrograde, but there's also movement for these changes and support for the radical changes that we need to make individually in our lives, in our psyche, in our greater consciousness, in the structures of our world, in humanity. These changes, we can't hold back the dam anymore. It's coming, and so it's your opportunity to be in disclosure, even though you don't know and it's a little bit scary, but be in the energy of the bigger you right now. Don't give it up for anything. Don't share it. Don't leak it out. You have to be resolute and determined with who you are and what you're doing here. This is all, the earth energy is helping us to just really put down roots and ground out and harmonize these energies. So very powerful. I hope you'll consider joining me on Friday for this Pisces full moon activation. Incredibly powerful messages and reflection around these next couple of months of astrology and what it is we're really doing here. And so hang in there. It's so potent and such a powerful time. Don't forget that you're doing rapid growth. It's not the same thing. Okay, so what can be helpful is that there's a spiritual movement that's gotten very caught in a loop, right? And it's like feeling and thinking that they're expanding and growing spiritually, but they're just at that rung of the ladder of the matrix, So if you're really experiencing and really doing the work right now, that means you are alive. You are not being taken over. You are resisting the takeover of AI, and you are choosing an organic ascension experience, and you are amazing. And what you have withstood, to get here and be here right now. And isn't it time to reap the rewards of this work and get out from under this dark hole that keeps pulling us back down? And that's what we're doing here. So don't forget that we're together, all going through these things, even though it can feel completely alone, because that's how it had to be before. Not anymore, because we're claiming back our world right here, right now, as each of us demand and command and be vigilant in the unknown vision, but of a feeling that we know there's something bigger and better and beautiful, and part of that's us. So much love to you, Supernova Souls. Thank you so much for being here. You're amazing, and I look forward to connecting with you soon. Maybe on that activation, Pisces full moon on Friday, or the next update on Friday as well. Until then, I'm Adrienne Elise. Namaste.